Hi everyone, thank you for joining me again today. In this video we're gonna have an overlook on my 1974 Lancia Beta that is currently being dropped onto a 1968 Beetle pan. Just a bit different from the last one is that I actually have some footage from when I started taking the car apart, so I'm gonna insert this into the video and we'll talk about how far it has come since then. So a lot of people have asked me to do YouTube for quite a while, and I don't even know if this is going on YouTube, but I'm gonna document this and see what happens. But this is my, I don't even know what year, but it's a Lancia Beta Berlina 1800 16 valve. So it has the famous Lancia 037 rally engine-ish in it. I got it off a junkyard, as you can probably see. Just taking the hood off, or the bonnet. So I'm gonna pull the engine, the drivetrain, everything from underneath. And hopefully, at some point, I will build up a Beetle pan for it. So it will be a Beetle pan Lancia Beta. So slowly picking away at it, getting stuff removed, disconnect everything from the engine. Hopefully by tonight it's out. If not, then maybe tomorrow. So come to think of it, I need to pull out the engine and the gearbox, and I need to get the subframe out and all of the suspension. So I'm gonna try to see if the engine crane can raise the body high enough so I can drop the engine and subframe from the bottom instead of lifting the engine out. So let's see how it goes. Right, after a few hours of taking things apart, the subframe is dropped, and let's see if the hoist can lift the car up enough. Starting here out in the front, one of the first issues to tackle was the axle length. The Lancia is about 100 millimeters longer than a Beetle, so it nicely fit into place that I just needed to space the front beam out. It's done using blocks like these, machined. These are essentially your caster control adjustment plates, just taken to 111. These space out the front beam 100 millimeters, as you can see. And that makes the front wheels fit nicely in the center of the wheel arches in the front. Here's a quick mock-up of the front Beetle brakes, mocked up to the front beam. This is with 100 millimeter spacers, as mentioned before, and that also lines perfectly up with that I can use the original rack and pinion from the Lancia instead of the Beetle steering box. And I of course also mocked it up with a wheel, just to show how much in the center the wheel will be in the new wheel arches. While still up here in the front, I wanted to show that this front wing was only held on by one screw, and originally it is held on by 11 screws, so all of this fastening area has been recreated in steel, welded in and grinded nicely, and built up from new. Along with the wing being welded up, I also decided to raise the area of the strut tower compared to the original one. It has a big divot down, and this actually allows me to have the car laying on the side sills with a 17-inch wheel underneath it, still with clearance. Moving on to the inside, I have fitted up this steering column just to make sure that it would clear the Beetle brakes and the new firewall. I have built this from an original Beetle shape, still available from new, and I've added the reinforcements on either side with a bead roll to make sure that it was strengthened up to the inner wheel arches. As you might notice, there is a big hole in the floor, and there's also natural holes in the floor. I am in the process of trying to mock up how to create the floor pan of the car. I am not sure yet if I'm gonna just use modified Beetle pans or I'm gonna build my own. Moving further along about the seating position and the drivability of this car, the gear knob of the VW Beetle actually lines perfectly up with where it would be on the original Lancia. And the handbrake is still mocked up, but it's definitely gonna clear both the handbrake and everything else. And if we follow the Beetle tunnel down here into the back, you can actually see where I've started building up the firewall and the seating position. All of this is actually underneath the rear seat of the Lancia. The original rear seat of the Lancia rested on this reinforcement, so I think I can get away with removing some foam from the cushioning of the rear seats to make it almost invisible from the inside at least. Speaking of this firewall or seating position, I have used the original Lancia X-brace that is sitting behind the rear seat, and I'm just filling out the triangular holes in this. And still making clearance for the gearbox that sits quite high in this configuration, as the body is on the ground and so is the Beetle pan, but yeah, the gearbox is sitting right where the center of the rear seat would be. If we take a peek over the rear firewall, we can see the strut mount or the shock mount for the Beetle, and the rear axle going to the wheel, which has been centered in the rear wheel well, and which allowed me to only space out the front beam and not lengthen the Beetle pan by any means. The Beetle pan is currently sitting on 4-inch drop spring plates, and with the car sitting as it is now, it's tucking this 15-inch Volkswagen wheel pretty nicely, but this is the suspension at almost full droop, so there's a lot more to give. And here in the back, I can't leave you without the money shot of opening the boot and having a Beetle engine sitting inside the boot area of my Lancia. This is the mock-up engine that I got really cheap. It's a 1200 single port. I'm not really sure how crazy I'm gonna go with the engine build on this. Right now I just want to get everything sorted out so I can attach the body back into how it should be, and then I will see if I can find a turnkey motor or if I'm gonna rebuild this. But yeah, before anyone goes completely mad about me cutting up a somewhat rare Lancia, this car was really rusty and still is, and the floors are no exception, so this is actually what gave me the idea to put it on a different chassis so the rust wouldn't be a structural part of the car anymore. Another small detail I found out that is a mod I wanted to do of the Lancia was that the BMW E30 and E34 headlight actually fit perfectly in the dimensions inside the Lancia lighting. Here we see the last time the car was technically on the road was in 2013. And I want to give a shout out to Dansk Lancia Register, because I posted this car up and they immediately knew who had owned it, and they have been really supportive of this crazy build. So shout out to them for being proper good lads, and if anyone has a Lancia emblem for my car, please let me know. So yeah, this was a quick overview of the Lancia. It's gonna continue growing whenever I find time for it, welding in sheet metal here and there. So if everything goes well, maybe within the next year or so I would be able to drive this car. Thanks for watching, and I hope you stay tuned for more project updates, and hopefully in the near future I'll get into some more work related videos where I show off the work I'm currently doing to many of the cars.